Sita is anxious. As it died, the beautiful deer slowly transformed back to Rakshasa Marich. Rama stared at the loathsome sight in wonder. He was afraid that Lakshmana must have heard the cry and might come in search of him, thinking he was in trouble. That was exactly what happened. Back at the hut, both Sita and Lakshmana had heard the magical cry. Your elder brother is in trouble. Rush to his aid, Sita urged Lakshmana. But the ever-cautious Lakshmana was reluctant. No one can harm Rama, he said. It must be a supernatural charm of some evil spirit. What do you mean? Sita was excited. You clearly heard the cry. He is in distress. Go immediately. Brother had ordered me to guard you, come what may. Lakshmana said firmly. Sita was livid. I am also an elder to you, and I order you to go save my husband. Lakshmana draws a boundary. Eventually, Lakshmana had to go. He too was getting worried. What if Rama was indeed in danger? But he was also afraid to leave Sita alone in the unprotected hut. Very well, he said. Since you forced me, I am going. But be very careful. Lakshmana took an arrow and, with its pointed head, scratched a line on the ground encircling the hut. Here, this is a protected area now. No one can enter this circle to cause any harm, but never step out of this boundary till we return. All right, Sita nodded hurriedly. Don't waste your time. Run to your brother. Go! Lakshmana said, I still think no one can do Rama any harm, and the cry is just a hoax. I am going only because you are so adamant. Anyway, remember what I said about not stepping out of the boundary? He disappeared within the forest. The brothers are worried. Rama was hurrying back. On the way, he met Lakshmana coming in search of him. Rama was both angry and worried. Are you all right, elder brother? Lakshmana asked. I am fine, but why did you leave Sita alone? He asked Lakshmana. I never wanted to, but she insisted, Lakshmana said, and the cry that we heard was so terrifying. What happened? Rama told him about the magical event. Just as I had feared, Lakshmana exclaimed. Indeed, said Rama, we must immediately return to the hut. I fear Sita is not safe there. Don't worry, Lakshmana assured him. I have drawn an enchanted boundary round the hut. As long as Sita stays within it, no power on earth can ever do her any harm. Good, but still, let's hurry. The birds tried to move through the dense foliage as fast as they could. A beggar in disguise. No sooner had Lakshmana gone out of sight, a hermit came begging at the hut. Blessed be the one who feeds the needy, he called aloud. Give alms to the beggar. Although they lived in a forest, sages and hermits often visited the hut. Sita loved offering food to them, but today she had to stay inside the hut. The beggar called out again. Let me offer alms from within the boundary. Sita thought. She gathered whatever was there to offer and came outdoors. It was a hermit indeed. There seemed nothing to be afraid of. She reached out carefully and offered him her bowl of alms. I am unable to stretch that far. The hermit smiled. Wouldn't you come forward a wee bit? Convinced that there was no threat, Sita stepped out of the boundary. In a flash, the hermit turned into the fearsome Ravana and grabbed her. The Valiant Jatayu. Ravana lifted Sita and mounted his magical chariot called the Pushpak, which could fly. The chariot drifted up above the Dandaka forest. Below, it was a sea of green greenery. They reached the clouds and swiftly headed southwards towards the distant kingdom of Lanka. Sita had tried to fight back, but the strong Ravana had easily overpowered her. Now, floating above the clouds, Sita continued to scream for help. Jatayu, a giant and powerful bird who lived in the Dandaka forest, heard the screams. He blocked the flying vehicle and attacked Ravana with all his might. He pecked with his enormous beak and scratched with his huge talons. It seemed Ravana was losing the fight, but then he took out his sword and with 2 sure strokes cut off the wings of Jatayu. As the brave bird dropped to the ground with a thud, the chariot continued its southward course. Prisoner at Lanka. As they flew over the clouds, Sita saw 5 huge monkeys on a mountain. To draw their attention, Sita dropped her veil and her golden ornaments, one by one. The monkeys ran to catch the objects. Soon they went out of sight. They flew over the land and then over the ocean. Finally, they reached the city of Lanka. Ravana handed Sita over to his household maids. The maids were fearsome Rakshasis. Ravana ordered them to keep a strict eye on Sita. "Marry me and be my queen. I will give you all that you want," Ravana said to Sita. "Rama is my husband," said Sita. "He will soon come and kill you. No one can reach Lanka." Ravana laughed. "It is surrounded by the ocean, and none can kill me. I am invincible." The Rakshasi maids kept Sita in a garden of Ashoka flowers and guarded her day and night. An empty hut. The brothers returned to a desolate hut. They instantly knew their worst fears had come true. They searched throughout the forest near and far. Rama, who had always remained calm in the face of all misfortune, was now inconsolable. Tears streaming down his cheeks, he kept calling Sita loudly. The day faded and night descended. It was a night without end. Lakshmana had led Rama inside the hut. Before nightfall, he tried his best to console him, but he himself was full of grief and remorse. Nothing would have happened if he had not left Sita alone, he thought. But whatever had been done could not be undone. Lakshmana had never seen such a helpless and mournful Rama. He was worried for his elder brother. He knew the loss of Sita could drown Rama in eternal sorrow. He needed to make him steady. Only then could they try and rescue Sita. The Death of Jatayu. They resumed the search next morning. While scouring through the forest, they chanced upon the Valiant Jatayu. He was still alive, but very, very weak due to the loss of blood. "Oh, Rama, Ravana has kidnapped Sita," he said in a feeble whisper. "I tried my best to stop him, but could not fight back against the sword. I failed to save her." Tears streamed from his wide and agonized eyes. "You did your best," Rama consoled him. "At least we know what happened. They have flown southwards," Jatayu murmured. The brothers tried to nurse the wounded bird, but he died soon after. They cremated the brave bird by the river and then decided to go southwards, as Jatayu had indicated. If you like my videos, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you!